Next question. Analyze recent budget of the AP. APPSC has asked similar question in the last year's APPSC exam. Even if they do not ask us any question from this APPSC from this budget, but still understanding the budget provisions are very important for us. Through these budget provisions, we will also try to understand the fiscal situation of the Andhra Pradesh government. Andhra Pradesh government's major focus, where it is doing, what kind of fiscal space is available. Okay, we'll try to understand them. So in that context, the question becomes very important for us. Now analyze the recent budget of the AP. So in order to understand the budget of the AB, in order to give the analysis of the budget, firstly we have to give some major provisions of the budget, right? Without providing some kind of features, how can you analyze? So we have to discuss some of the features of the major provisions of the budget. Now we have to give the first introduction also in this question. In the introduction, some context has to be set. Now you cannot say simply, okay, Andhra Pradesh government has come up with the budget and so on and so on. You should set the some kind of context. Okay, Andhra Pradesh envisions itself as one of the top 3 Indian states by 2022 and a developed state by 2029 and a leading global investment destination by 2050. Now these are the bigger targets the government has, right? Because of this thing, so what kind of expenditure the government is having, what kind of revenues, what is the focus of the government becomes crucial. And so in this context, government of AP's budget will provide us the direction in which the government is moving towards. Okay, so in this context, the budget of the Andhra Pradesh becomes very important. So if you can see, they have made a provision for the budget. Is the total expenditure is 2,60,000 crores. Okay, and their revenues, such as few important things, do not think as it's a kind of facts. We have to remember it is very important. Okay, our GDP of the Andhra Pradesh is somewhere around 11 lakh crores. Okay, that is some kind of such kind of numbers we have to remember. So here 2,60,000 crores is the total expenditure, and revenue is somewhere around 2,05,000 crores. And whatever the expenditure minus revenue, whatever the gap is there, that is done through the borrowing, 53,000 crores. So what is the revenue deficit? In the previous year, in the 2022-23, the revenue deficit is 2.2%. It is expected it will it will reduce to 1.5%. You have to remember this value. Okay, even if you forget this thing is fine. This is very important. Okay, then you have to talk about the fiscal deficit. Okay, now the fiscal deficit is 3.6%, but they could see slightly more fiscal deficit because of the initiatives they have taken in the budget. Okay. And then if you see the capital expenditure in the sense, that is the major investment where actually the production happens, where the GDP growth rate can happen. Okay, that can happen primarily because of the capital expenditure. Okay, the capital expenditure is 31,000 crore. It is an increase of 84%. Okay, it has almost doubled, right? If you see the previous in the previous budget, the capital expenditure was 15,000 crore only, nearly. Okay, 15 or 18,000 crore. Now, here you have to understand 2 points here itself. Firstly, you can see the value of capital expenditure. It is hardly 30,000 crore of the entire 2,80,000 crore. Okay, it is just a little bit more than your 10%, right? So firstly, the value itself is very less. Now second thing is, what happens with this government, be it central government and state government, is they will propose here 31,000 crore. But what happens in the revised estimates which we get in the next year, the actual spending would be somewhere around 15,000 crores or 16,000 crores. A body called PRS legislative analysis, there is an NGO. They have made a kind of analysis and they have shown how the government has promised some kind of capital expenditure, but those capital expenditures were not fulfilled. Every year there was a gap of 40%, 30%, 50%, as high as 50% gap in the promises. That's the reason the NK Singh committee, okay, they have said there should be independent fiscal council. The same thing will be also done by the central government as well. There should be independent body which should ensure ensure that these promises are fulfilled by those government. In the case of the state government, the central government will maintain some kind of financial control, but in the case of the central government, there is no such kind of control. Okay, so coming to this point, already the outlay itself is, here I am saying the analysis, the outlay itself is very low. It is coming around 10%, and again but still compared to the revenue revised estimates, it is always decreasing as highlighted by the analysis, PRS analysis. Okay, then within those there are certain expenditure called a committed expenditure. Okay, out of those expenditure only, the revenue expenditure around 2,50,000 crores, the committed expenditure means government cannot go back. Let's say your salaries, pensions, that part of the expenditure is the committed expenditure, which itself is 24% of the revenue receipts. Government cannot go back on the promise that it anyway should happen. Okay, so now if you see this the total debt, this is very important point, that is 33.3% of the GSDP. This is very high. It is said by this FRBM encasing committee, the state governments should have total debt of around 20%, but this is 33%. This is very high. Okay. So these are the major provisions. Then we also see certain other things. Okay, so we have to divide our answer in the same manner. Okay, let's say macro indicators. Okay, and then we have to talk about this heading. Okay, the budget, budget in the sense, what is the expenditure, what is the revenue, what is the capital outlay, what is the total debt. Okay, then macro indicators. The macro indicators, this is a very important thing. So 7% growth rate is happening. Okay, without these facts, your answers will become very poor. You have to know this thing. Okay, then what is the sectoral contribution? Okay, the agriculture and manufacturing sector is growing at the 5% each, while the service sector is growing at the 10%. That you need to be aware of. Okay, then we have seen agriculture is contributing as high as 40%. This is also a problem. Okay, because that's what I have discussed. This service sector is a 40%. This should go towards more than 50, and this should come down. And the number of people dependent on agriculture should also come down, and they should shift to the industrial sector, and this should also rise. Okay, then per capita income. Okay, per capita the income has been around the 2,20,000. This is also a good change. So now where the government is spending, the majority of the spending is going towards this is the analysis. Okay, the majority of the spending is going towards the welfare. Okay, SC, ST, OBC and minorities welfare. The majority. Okay, in that way, in one way we can see the inclusive growth can happen. Okay, some kind of sustainable development can happen. Protection of the vulnerable sections. Okay, then what is the other issue? The least amount of money is allotted for the transport and the police. If the amount of money allotted for the transport is less, then your industrial sector development will be affected. The same point that you can mention in the challenges of the industrial sector. You can mention the high amount of revenue expenditure, less amount of money allocated to the transport sector in the current amount of the budget. So then further more analysis. So let's say if the 100 rupees is being raised by the Andhra Pradesh government, 57% of money for the government, Andhra Pradesh government, is coming from its own resources, and 43% of the resources are coming from the central government. In that 43%, 23% are coming in the form of grants. Okay, another 20% is coming in from the state's share in the central taxation. You might be aware there is a finance commission which will recommend for the vertical devolution. Central government, from the central government towards the various state governments. Okay, the funds will flow. Okay, from the common divisible pool. Okay, from again there will be horizontal devolution between the states, how the money should be devolved. Okay, this is called the vertical devolution and the horizontal devolution. Who is the body that recommends the central government? Okay, the constitutional body called finance commission will do. So under this you will also get this central taxes in the form of 20%, and you are also getting grants of the 23%. Now what are these grants? You have seen the provision, the revenue deficit grants. Okay, the Andhra Pradesh government is facing the revenue deficit. Okay, apart from these compulsory statutory provisions, finance commission also recommends certain discretionary grants. Okay, those are not discretionary grants, certain grants for the well-being of the state. Okay, one such grant is the revenue deficit grants. So under those provisions, state government is getting the 23% of the revenue. Now from where the majority of the revenue that is coming from the state government, the majority of the revenue that is coming for the state government is from the state GST. This is very good provision. This is very good measure. Okay, that means GST is working well, right? This provision can this point can also be used under the in the question analysis of the GST. So this is a very good thing. Okay, so I have given the positives. So positives, what are the positives? Allocation of the capital expenditure has increased compared to the last year. Fiscal consolidation is happening. Due to this, fiscal deficit and the revenue deficit is coming down. Okay, and then macroeconomic scenario is very good. Growth rate of 10%. Higher outlay for the welfare, health, education, and then growth of revenue from the own tax resources and especially GST. These are the good points we can see from the budget. Then we can also see that there is higher amount of divergence between the what actually capital expenditure they have mentioned, they mention in the budget, and what actually they will spend. That is called the revised estimates. Okay, there will be discrepancy in the revised estimates and the budget estimates. Budget estimates means for the upcoming year, what would be my expenditure. Revised estimates means what actually they spent. Okay, that will come next year. Okay, so those basic things, the static part. Okay. Then higher amount of the total debt can become unsustainable. CAG has one said, Controller and Auditor General has one said, okay, in the 2015, 70% of the new debt was raised to fulfill the promises of the old debt. Okay, and RBI has also stated that Andhra Pradesh is one of the high top 10 states which are having high debts. And then 90% of the expenditure is nearly revenue expenditure, and allocation for the transport sector is low, which is crucial for the industrial development. So that is the analysis. Okay, Andhra Pradesh is very, we can also see that we have also achieved the remarkable progress in the form of development through, and we also need the rationalization of the subsidies and increasing of the capital expenditure and initiation of the reforms to become a developed state by 2029. Apart from this, some amount of value addition can be done here. Now, if you can see the Andhra Pradesh during the time of its formation in the 2014, what was its GDP? Its GDP was around 4.5 lakh crore. Now you can show this thing. Okay, if they ask post bifurcation or what is the current scenario of Andhra Pradesh, how the Andhra Pradesh is performing now, you need to have data. So then it was a 4.5 lakh crore. Now it is 11 lakh crore. So it is very good growth. See, such kind of exponential growth has happened. Then the budget present was around 1,36,000 crores. Now our money capacity has increased. Now we have presented nearly around 2,80,000 crores, right? And now this is a very important thing. They have asked, provide the trends of the fiscal deficit of the Andhra Pradesh government, provide the trends of the public debt of the government. So such kind of questions they are asking. It is very important for you to know the fiscal deficit trend. The fiscal deficit during the time of the bifurcation was as high as 6%. It has come down and again it has increased and again it is coming down. Then public debt is constantly increasing. It was 28% during the time of bifurcation, but it has come down and again it has increased to as high as 34%. This is what I was mentioning. The CAG has said in the 2015 and 16, 72% of the new debt was raised to handle the old debt. And RBI has also said Andhra Pradesh is among the top 10 states which are having high debts. Okay, apart from this, what were the changes in the social indicators we have seen? Niti Aayog has said the poverty levels in Andhra Pradesh has come down to less than 10% levels, and they have also in the Andhra Pradesh socio-economic survey has said the institutional deliveries of the Andhra Pradesh has improved, forest cover has been improved, and National Family Health Survey 5 has mentioned that stunting and wasting levels have reduced. So all these are the various good social indicators of the Andhra Pradesh government. But the only concern for the problematic concern is the anemia situation, especially of the women, especially the pregnant women. Has more than 60% of the pregnant women are facing this anemia. 50% of the rural people are facing anemia. This is this can also be a very most important science and technology question. Discuss the causes of the anemia. Okay, so that's the reason last year also in the APPSC they have asked the question on the PDS. Under the PDS, the pregnant women would be given additional the food allocation, right? Additional nutrition allocation. But despite all this, why this thing still there is a high anemia? So that means that your PDS system, there should be problems in the PDS system. That's why the APPSC has once asked the question, what are the problems in the Andhra Pradesh PDS system, right? So this is the content. Okay, I hope you got all the necessary content that is needed for your answering the APPSC questions. Thank you.